Boy's small airplane can fly against gravity, and the most surprising thing is that it doesn't even have an engine. One day he takes the plane to school, but his classmates start making fun of him. "What a nasty plane," they say. "White and ugly." They even snatch the plane from his hands. However, no one can foresee what will happen next. The plane starts moving on its own and lunges directly toward the boy. It gets even crazier. It is as if the entire plane understands what the boy says. He gives it a little push, and boom! The plane shoots toward a bucket. The boy is completely over the moon. When the nanny isn't watching, he drags over a ladder, climbs onto the plane, and pulls himself up to the roof. He's determined to let the plane carry him to heaven to find his dad. Right then, his mom gets home from work. Seeing this, she panics, runs to the roof, and hugs him tight. Meanwhile, the plane falls right off the roof. The mom, furious, replies that it was very dangerous, but Charlie holds his ground, swearing that his plane can really fly. Worried to the bone, Catherine takes the plane and puts it in the storage room. Charlie starts crying and screaming, and because of that, they have a big fight. Suddenly, something truly dangerous happens. That plane defies gravity, shatters the glass, and shoots into the room, spinning as if it were possessed. Catherine tries to hit it with a mop, but that only makes it angrier. It lights up with a ghostly red, as if it were about to attack. Catherine screams in terror, and Charlie runs to protect her. In an instant, the red light disappears and the plane slides to Charlie's feet, acting like a guilty puppy. Catherine is left speechless. She can only watch as her son picks up the plane and returns to his room. She immediately calls her friend Pierre, who was the one who made the plane. When Pierre arrives, she tells him everything that happened. To solve the mystery, they wait for Charlie to fall asleep and then they hide the plane. They examine it all over, but they find no hidden switch. Pierre doesn't believe it and takes out a knife to scratch it, but, surprise, there isn't even a single mark. Realizing that this plane is very far from ordinary, Pierre quickly takes it to the laboratory. His plane model turns out to be truly strange. After performing a full scan, the researchers discover that it has no electronic parts at all. They are completely astonished, as that goes against all scientific logic. Pierre places the small plane under a high-resistance impact test machine that can crush a piece of iron into tiny fragments. But to his surprise, the plane comes out of there without a single mark, not even a dent. Everyone is left open-mouthed. At that moment, Charlie wakes up in the middle of the night. He needed to go to the bathroom. As he reaches out to grab his pillow, he notices that the plane is gone. The mom, very annoyed, finally admits that she lent it to the research institute. Charlie goes crazy, runs outside, and takes the bicycle of a neighborhood girl who happens to be passing by. Without hesitating, she gets on the bike and they pedal at full speed toward the institute. In only 10 minutes, they arrive there. Entering the laboratory, which is very well guarded, is not easy, but these children have a plan. There are guards at the entrance, of course. Suddenly, the girl grabs her leg and starts howling as if she were in terrible pain, pretending to be in distress. The guard falls for the trap and comes over to check, and that is the signal for Charlie. He crouches down and sneaks inside. To his surprise, he finds his precious little plane. While Pierre talks on the phone, Charlie slides in like a ninja and takes it. Then he hides under a cabinet, thinking about making a quiet escape later. But as soon as Pierre hangs up and turns around, his eyes pop out of their sockets, as if he were about to explode. Where the hell is the plane? He scans the room and sees half of Charlie's head peeking out from behind the cabinet. Pierre approaches slowly, but just there, suddenly, the cabinet starts to shake violently, as if it were possessed. Suddenly, it collapses on top of Pierre, and it turns out that the small plane is on Charlie's back. Without wasting time, Charlie runs away as if his life depended on it. The laboratory alarms start to blare at full volume, and in a matter of seconds, security turns into chaos. Guards everywhere. It seems there is no way to escape from this mess. Charlie goes through the emergency exit and runs up the stairs like a runner on fire. He takes out his dad's work identification and swipes it through the reader to open the roof door. Just when the guards are very close, Charlie secures the plane to his body, climbs up the wall ladder, and reaches the top of the roof. There he squeezes that small plane tightly, just like he used to do on his rooftop. He begs it, "Please, take me flying." And to his surprise, the small plane actually lifts him into the sky. Pierre stays there, stunned, with his mouth open, unable to believe it. The plane streaks over mountains and flies over the city. The truck drivers watch in astonishment, and the girlfriend of one of them, so scared, ends up ruining her makeup from the amazement. When they finally reach a safe place, the plane leaves him gently in a forest. The boy, exhausted, stumbles all night half asleep. Noon the next day, he manages to reach the base of a signal tower, opens the iron door, and climbs with effort, planning to hide the plane there. But upon reaching the top, his legs buckle, and he falls like a sack of potatoes, exhausted after walking all night along those mountain roads. He doesn't have the strength even to stand. Meanwhile, the neighborhood girl runs back and tells Catherine that her son shot off into the sky. Just when she is about to leave to look for him, boom! The small plane returns alone, flying by itself. Catherine and the girl huddle in the house, but the plane stays there, floating in midair. Then it starts to back away slowly, as if it were saying, "Follow me." Catherine's heart beats fast, and without hesitating, she sends the girl home and runs after the plane in her car. And indeed, she finds him at the foot of the signal tower, with Charlie unconscious. Just when she is about to lift him up and return home, Pierre appears right behind her. He demands to know where the plane is, and Catherine points to the tower. Without hesitating, Pierre takes a rope out of his trunk, climbs the tower like a monkey, and prepares to throw it. He puts on his gloves and says, "This is top-tier material for research." Pierre is determined to recover that plane for his studies. Last, he manages to wrap the rope around the plane, but right then it goes out of control. Yanks the rope and tries to make a quick escape. Pierre holds on with all his strength, but his gloves start smoking from the friction. Suddenly, bang! The tower's anchor breaks and the whole structure starts to give way. Before Pierre can react, the plane approaches Catherine dangerously, clearly wanting to stay with Charlie. She understands the message perfectly. Pierre, angry, yells, "That is mine. Don't you dare move it." But Catherine doesn't care at all. She floors the accelerator. And Pierre, desperate, launches himself onto the roof of the car, hitting the glass in his attempt to stop her. She slams on the brakes and Pierre is thrown off. He tries to start his car to catch up to them, but the keys have disappeared. All that's left is for him to get frustrated and hit the steering wheel with rage. Instead of returning home, Catherine decides to take her son to the beach, his favorite childhood spot, to help him relax. When she opens the trunk, she gets a surprise. The neighborhood girl has been hiding in there the whole time. Listen to this. That model of plane is not just a toy. It seems to have a soul and a very strong telepathic connection with Charlie. But when Charlie wakes up, the plane remains silent, as if it knew it caused a ruckus and had decided to play dead. Charlie is convinced that the plane is dead. So, in the middle of the night, while everyone sleeps, he sneaks off to the beach, digs a hole, and makes a small grave for it. He makes a wish to see his dad again. But just when he is about to leave, his heart breaks. He cannot bear that sadness and digs up the plane, only to discover that the hole is empty. Charlie digs frantically in search of his friend, and suddenly he feels a presence behind him. He turns around and sees his dad right there standing. His dad walks toward him, and Charlie almost hugs him with all his might, begging him not to leave again. It turns out Charlie's dad was a pilot, always busy with work and rarely home. That Christmas, he gave Charlie a model plane, even though Charlie had really wanted a bicycle. His dad promised to buy him one the next Christmas, but that Christmas never came. A few days ago, Charlie's dad suffered a tragic plane accident, and that model was his last gift. That is why Charlie has been holding onto it night and day. When he saw the plane moving by itself in the night, he knew that something special had happened. Charlie has dreamed of taking that plane to look for his dad, and now everything makes sense. The spirit of his father has been with the plane the whole time. Even that keycard he discovered actually belonged to his father. The reason the plane attacked his mother was because they had kept it locked far away from Charlie. Charlie's father gently strokes his hair and softly says to him, "Hey there, little champion, you have to do me a big favor and take good care of your dear mother for me. Tell her that I miss her a lot. And every time you miss me, look at the stars. I will be there, taking care of you too." Before leaving, his dad tells him, "Come on, show me that smile that I love so much." Charlie gives him the biggest and brightest smile he can. And his dad pushes a small boat into the sea, gets on board, and slowly disappears into the fog. In an instant, it turns into a shooting star, crossing the sky and being the brightest star of all. Next day, Charlie pulls the curtains and wakes up his mom. He is ready to go back home with her. He tells her everything that happened, how his dad is now the brightest star in the sky, and that he will follow his dad's mission. He is determined to be there for his mom, no matter what happens. Sometimes logic is not enough to explain the miracles that love can perform. When we trust our loved ones and support them instead of holding back their dreams, we discover that what truly matters is not proving that something works, but staying united even when science runs out of answers. And that is how this incredible movie ends. If you want to see more amazing videos like this one, I highly recommend that you watch this video right here.